एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निरभਉ निर्वैर अकाल मूर्त जुनी सहपंग गुर प्रसाद जप आद सच जुगाद सच है भी सच नानक होसी भी सच एक अद्वितीय गुरु नानक देवा ओंकार गुरु अंगद पेवा सतनाम गुरु अमर प्यारे करता रामदास गुरबारे पुरख श्री अर्जन सुखदानी निर्भव हर गोबिंद गुण खानी निर्वैर गुरु है श्री हर राय अकाल मूर्त हर कृष्ण त्याय अर्जुनी तेग बहादुर राय साहब अंकुर दसमें सहाय गुरु प्रसाद ग्रंथ गुरु ज्ञाना वाहे गुरु वंदन भगवान गुरु ग्रंथ कल जुग पयो श्री गुरु रूप महान 10 पासा एहो रूप है गुरु ग्रंथ जी जान पूर्ण देखियो आत्मा द्वैता सर्वनवार पय शांत मन शांते तन पद नमो मान मुकुश शास्त्र खाट पेंगरन छट जाए अंत के बदरोसने जो काल के पाक राय कहा बुध प्रभु तुच्छ हमारी बरन सके मैं माजो तहारी हम न सक कर सकतानी आप ले हो तुम कथा सदारी सो कहो टल गुरु सेवी है एन सहज सुभाए दर्शन पर से गुरु के जन्म मरण दुख जाए दर्शन पर से गुरु के जन्म मरण दुख जाए वाहिगुरु
सतनाम श्री वाहिगुरु साहिब जी जे जुग चारे आरजा होड़ दसूनी होए नवा खंडा विच जानिए नाल चले सब कोय चंगा नाउर खाए कै जस कीरत जगले जे तिस नदर न आवे ता बात न पुछै के कीटा अंदर कीट कर तोसी दोस्त तरे नानक निर्गुण गुण करे गुणवंतिया गुण दे तेहा कोई ना सुझे जे तिस गुण कोई करे
वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह गुरु रूप साध संगत जी वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह. We're continuing on with the definitions of the Sri Japji Sahib. We have completed the first 6 Pauris now of the Sri Japji Sahib, and now we're at to start the 7th Pauri of the Sri Japji Sahib. This is the last Pauri we get to before the memo of Vaheguru starts, the memo of the praise of the people who listen. Suniya, Manya, and Nadas, and Sunan Mandas, and those are Pauri that are going to start featuring after this, but this is the last one, where the Guru is still being enticed by the Jogis. The Jogis are still trying to bring the Guru towards their path in order to bring their own fame and the fame of Gorakhnath's path as well of God. So here again we're going to go into the Atanaka. The Atanaka here, the preface here is that still Sri Gurū Nanak Dev Jī sat there with the Sidhs. And this is the first definition. There are other definitions that will follow. But the first definition of this Pauri is where Sri Gurū Nanak Dev Jī sat. And the Sidhs are saying to Sri Gurū Nanak Dev Jī, why don't you adopt the path of the Sidhs? Why don't you adopt the order of the Sidhs? He goes, because we are able to meditate in such a way that we are able to lengthen our lives and live for a long time. And because of that, everybody, your name will be well known by everybody. They will realize your name will be well known. He goes, throughout the 9 realms, throughout the 9 continents, everybody will know. The Navakhanda, which India at the time was split into 9 portions, 9 parts. So he's like, everybody will know your name. Everybody will recognize your name. And he goes, everybody will praise you. Everybody will give you glory behind your back as well. So why not do this? And then hearing this, Sri Gurū Nanak Dev Jī heard what the Sidhs had said, and then started to compose a dispassionate Pauri. And the dispassionate Pauri starts off with
Je Jugachare Arja.
Sri Gurū Nanak Dev Jī says, look Sidhs, if I was to do meditation in the difficult extreme ways that you lot do as yogis, to lengthen my life to that being of 4 ages, and then and if we were to Je Jogachari Arja, and it was to be lengthened like 1,000 times, if that was to happen, and then the Guru continues,
Hor Dasuni Hoy.
He goes, let's even take that again. What if we were to lengthen it 4 times? He goes, obviously 4 jugs itself would be like thousands of years that I'd be alive, but say if we were to lengthen our life, or the Sunni another 10 times, so another 40 ages are put on there. So in total there's 44 ages left there. He goes, what's the point if the person isn't going to do bhakti, if they're not going to meditate, if they're not going to worship in any way? What is the point, without performing Simran meditation? He goes, this life is useless. Because you can have the longest life as much as you want, but it will just be painful, it will be full of suffering, because you will not be meditating upon the name of God. He goes, to have a life without completing any Simran, what is the point? He goes, you can end up having the rule of all these lands, you can end up doing all these things, but there is no respect and honour in having a long life if nothing has been done with it or used fruitfully. I'm going to touch upon a quick Sakhi, which is Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji finishes the fight at Sri Muktsar, and then they go on further, and they settle with one of their camps, and the Sikhs are all settling down, they're all setting the camps for everybody, and where they're settling down there is an encampment of a local sadhu who lives there with his students. His students, seeing the Sikhs turn up, thinking, well, these are warriors, these are warriors who've turned up because they're wearing the dress of warriors, they don't religious in any way as far as they're concerned, they're just warriors. And they ask them, they say, who are you? And they say, well, we're the Sikhs of the Guru, And then they ask about the Guru, and they say, well, our Guru's, we've just been fighting wars because of what's happened with the oppression. But Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji is 35 years of age. So that gives this time period about 1701. Is 35 years of age, and they went back to their sadhu and said, look, there's a sadhu who's turned up, he's dressed up as a warrior, he's 35 years of age, and the sadhu, who had pride within his life and his long experience of devotion, then criticised the Guru and said, well, what does he know? He's only 35 years old. How can they consider him a sadhu? He hasn't done anything. He hasn't done years of meditation, devotion, austere, tapasya, or anything like that. He hasn't done anything. So he's just a kid. That's what he assumed because of the age of 35 years old. So the students of the sadhu were, they wanted to know, they were intrigued about the Guru. So they went into the court of the Guru. And the Guru's there with the Singhs. And the Singhs are talking, saying there's a local sadhu nearby who lives here. But he's considered you as a child because of your age. And Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji said, yeah, well, we might be 35 years of age, but he's full of his own ego and pride. End of the day, he has lived for 5,020 years. So all he's engrossed in his pride, he doesn't know much else. Students were shocked to hear this of the sadhu, because they didn't know the age of their own sadhu themselves. So they went back to their sadhu, explained to them that what the Guru has said, and the sadhu himself he was shocked. He couldn't understand how a person of 35 years of age had the ability to know that, had the ability to know the lifespan of this sadhu who'd spent all of his years controlling his life breaths and lengthen his life. He eventually came into the court of the Guru and fell at the feet of the Guru and became a devotee of the Guru. But here it shows what Gurū Nanak Dev Jī is saying. He goes, what's the point in having a long life when you end up being controlled by your ego and pride because of the years of life that you have had? He goes, there is no point. He goes, without bhajan, simran, without meditation upon God, it is all useless. It is without any use. And then Sri Guru Nanak Dev Jī continues.
Nava khanda vich janiye.
They say, look, if you lengthen your life that much, but you are known throughout all the 9 continents, you are known throughout the 9 parts of India, and you show everybody your powers, your abilities, your occult abilities. And then the Guru continues.
Naal chale sab koi.
He goes, wherever you go, all the people come with you, they follow you around, they respect you in such a way, they consider their life complete by being with you all the time, that they go with you just to get a glimpse of you. And the Guru continues.
Changa nao rakhai ke.
Then even if I was to adopt a beautiful name, a name further on something else, it's like you get, not going back too far, but Rajneesh called himself, he was initially known as Rajneesh, then he was known as Bhagwan Rajneesh, then he was known as Osho, gave himself beautiful names, but what does that matter? Because many people give themselves titles and different names, And due to this, the Guru continues.
Jas Kirt Jagale.
He goes, then those people, because of your beautiful name, because of your length of life, because you are known throughout the land, they will praise you. They will praise you to your face, and they will spread your glory behind your back. They will continue to do that. And then the Guru continues again.
Jetis Nadar Na Ave.
He goes, even if you were to become such a great person like this, but you did not come to the attention of the gaze of Waheguru, he goes, what is the point? He goes, what is the purpose of all this? If you do not get graced by the Guru, what is the purpose of all this? And the Guru continues. Because what will happen is one day, if God has thought about you, he goes, this world will forget about you. Everybody has their day of fame. Everybody has their time. And before you know it, it completely disappears. He goes, what can you gain from all this? Without having the grace of God, what can be gained? And the Guru then goes on further and states,
Kita Andar Kitkar.
He goes, that person then becomes like an ant. Their life is useless. It is like the life of an ant. And Sri Ramchandra Ji, within the Yoga Vashisht, there's a Sakhi that comes where he is sat with Rishi Vashisht and he is laughing at the plight of an ant which has had two of its legs not working and he's trying to climb up a step. And he laughs, and Vashisht Muni says, well, why are you laughing, Sri Ramchandra? Why are you laughing? He goes, look at the plight of the ant and you're laughing at it. And he goes, I'm laughing because he has been Indradevta on a number of occasions. He has been the king of all the deities on a number of occasions, but due to bad karma, he's fallen out of sight of God. He has lost his position. His position has been taken up by another person. And he is now stuck in the life of an ant with two legs missing, unable to crawl up a step. This is the curse of not reciting the name of God. You can be as great as you can, but you forget the name of God. This is what occurs. And Gurū Nanak Dev Jī is saying here that person who has all these things, all these traits, but does not meditate upon the name of God, their life is like that of a lonely ant. It's like of a lonely ant where they just suffer. He goes, it could be worse. He goes, Gita under Gidkar. He goes, that's what's been done so far. Gita under Gidkar. Out of all the creatures, you could be the lowest ant, sat on the head of a dog. And then Gurū Nanak Dev Jī continues. They say, dosi dos kare. They say, dosi dos. I'm stepping ahead of the arts here, but I just need to. Dosi dos kare is to cause illness or cause suffering to another. Gita under Gidkar. He goes, you could be the lonely ant that sits upon the head of another Gid, which is another animal, which is on the head of a dog. A dog is able to get rid of all the ants and insects and everything that sit upon him by licking them away or getting rid of them. But if it's sat on his head, he's unable to lick them and get rid of them. Instead, that ant causes him suffering and pain. He goes, that's what it will be. You'll either be the ant that's causing the suffering, or you'll be the dog that is suffering because of the cause of the ant. That is what that type of life is. And Sri Gurū Nanak Dev Jī then goes on and repeats.
Gita and the Gidkar.
They say out of all these things you could end up being other lives. You could gain other poor lives within this world where you just suffer. You gain the lives of snakes and things like that, which suffer on their bellies. They do not walk. They just suffer all their lives, and they have long, long lives. A snake has one of the longest lives ever, and all that happens, the longer his life is, the more poison he seems to have within himself, and that poison causes him to suffer internally as well. And that's what Sri Gurū Nanak Dev Jī is saying here. You can lengthen your life as much as you want, but all you will do is cause yourself to suffer with the pride and ego that you have, and due to that, it will only cause you to spit venom at others. And here there's a Sakhi as well from Kalyansar Gurdwara, which is where Sri Guru Har Gobind Ji stayed in Ladakh. While they were going to Ladakh, there was a snake approaching them. Bhai Bidhi Chand saw the snake and said to Maharaj, there's a snake approaching, would you like us to eradicate it for you? And Maharaj said, no, he's come in order to gain mukti, and that's what he's come for. And the snake came slowly up to the feet of Sri Guru Har Gobind Ji, So Guru Hargobind Ji took their shoe off and touched the snake's head, and at that point the snake ripped open in two, and it was full of maggots. The snake died, and the Singh saw the soul go up to the upper regions and saw the maggots coming out of the body. And they asked who this was. And basically the Guru explained that in his previous life that this person was somebody who considered himself a guru, but he ate all the earnings of his disciples. So in this life he was born again as a snake, and those people who were his disciples became the maggots, and they were eating from him in this life. He was suffering away, and Maharaj ended up giving him liberation and liberating all the beings that were trapped inside him as well. So Maharaj says this is what you could suffer. You can end up suffering kirtan under kirtkar. You can end up being gaining one of these lives which are so low, full of suffering, because you've not meditated upon the name of God. And then the Guru continues.
Nanak nirgun gun kare.
Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, look, he goes, the Vaheguru who I pray to, he is merciful. He's merciful, and he has all of the qualities. He has everything within him. He is exempt from the the qualities that a person suffers, but at the same time he has all gunavantya gunadev. He is so it says Nanak nirgun. So Guru Nanak Dev is saying that God is nirgun for a start. Nanak nirgun gun kare. So Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji says God is Kripalu. He is without all these satsantog daya taram tiraj. He is without kam krodh lobh moh ahankar. He is without all of these things that a jeev has to have. The jeev has all of these things. He is the one who gains these gun. So the individual who is on this earth, they gain all these things. Satsantog daya taram. God is merciful that He grants all these things. He is the one who does parupakar. He is the one who commits acts in order to help others, and by doing this he helps the poor, he helps those who are suffering, he helps those who require assistance. He helped those people in the life of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, like Korde Raksh, Sajjan Tug, and people like that. The Guru within his form, when he adopted his form, he is the one who assists all those. But it is without Vaheguru, there is nothing that can be gained. There is no one greater than Vaheguru. There is no one other than Vaheguru who gives these virtues, these attributes, these characteristics, even though he himself doesn't have them. He goes, when he showers these virtues upon the world, he goes, it's those people who are in the lowest regions that gain this. So those people who are poor, who are merciful, who have no ego, that gain all these things. Just as the lands that are lying low within the world gain the waters and form the ponds and the rivers, because they have no ego. It is those people without ego that gain these virtues from the virtueless God. The character, he has no virtues, no characteristics. And Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji continues.
Gunvantiya gunde.
He goes, those people who have faith and belief, he goes, they're the ones that are blessed with these virtues. The virtues of bhakti, meditation, simran, remembering God. They gain the virtues of viragavik, kat sampati, mokhicha. They gain these dharam, artha, mokh, or kamana. They gain these virtues. These are the virtues that are given by God. And Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji finishes off with, they say, there is nothing else that we require in this earth. Anything that we see, we're not bothered about. There's no desirement for anything else. And Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji then closes up with, they say, Deha koi na saji, tis gun koi kare. So God is the one who assists all, and He is the assistance of all as well. They said there is nothing other than what we want to do is recite with the name of God. He has given us this. Yeah, He's given us the eyes, He's given us the body, He's given us everything that nobody else can give us. Doesn't matter how many prosthetics or operations you have, there's nothing equivalent to what gives us. He is the one that gives every desire, every wish within this world, and there is no other like God. And because of that, the one God is the goal of all. This is what a person should desire and receive. They should not want in any point to do anything other than to worship God. Because without the worship of God, to have a long life, to have all these things that you have mentioned, Sidhs, is a curse. And it's after hearing this, a bhajan of great dispassion from Sri Gurū Nanak Dev Jī, the Sidhs then paid their salutations to Sri Gurū Nanak Dev Jī and agreed with what he was saying. And this is the first lot of definitions for this Pauri, for the 7th Pauri. And next time we'll go on to the second lot of definitions. But for today's lesson, we'll leave it there. Kamalpreet Singh, if you could close up, please.
ਜੇ ਜੁਗ ਚਾਰੇ ਆਰਜਾ ਹੋਰ ਦਸੂਣੀ ਹੋਏ ਨਵਾਂ ਖੰਡਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਣੀਐ ਨਾਲ ਚਲੇ ਸਭ ਕੋਏ ਚੰਗਾ ਨਾਉ ਰਖਾਏ ਕੈ ਜਸ ਕੀਰਤ ਜਗਲੇ ਜੇ ਤਿਸ ਨਦਰ ਨਾ ਆਵਈ ਤਾਂ ਬਾਤ ਨਾ ਪੁੱਛੈ ਕਿ ਕੀਟਾ ਅੰਦਰ ਕੀਟ ਕਰ ਦੋਸੀ ਦੋਸ ਤਰੇ ਨਾਨਕ ਨਿਰਗੁਣ ਗੁਣ ਕਰੇ ਗੁਣਵੰਤੀਆਂ ਗੁਣ ਦੇ ਤਿਹਾ ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਸੁਝਈ ਜੇ ਤਿਸ ਗੁਣ ਕੋਈ ਕਰੇ।
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। हे गोबिंद हे गोपाल हे दयाल लाल प्राणनाथ अनाथ सखे दीन दर्द निवार हे समर्थ अगम पूर्ण मोहे मया तार अंधकूप महाभयान नानक पारे उतार आय प्रभ शरणागति कृपा निध दयाल एक अखर हर मन वसते नानक होत निहाल एक अखर हर मन वसते नानक होत निहाल। वाहिगुरू जी का खालसा वाहिगुरू जी की फतेह।